Hey you guys, welcome back to A Moment with Amesha. If you are a new visitor to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a moment with myself here on A Moment with Amesha. If you are returning back to this channel, thank you all for coming back and staying in touch with me. So I have another dating and marriage relationship video, and as I'm sure you've already read the title, it says, should I call off my engagement? Now, I will be honest with you all, I was a little nervous about doing this video, more so because I want to share with you a personal experience of mine regarding this topic with calling off an engagement. This is something that I did go through. I want this channel to be a place where I can be real and transparent with you all, and not just, you know, I'm just coming up with these various topics and not being able to relate to them. So I want to make sure you all know that a lot of the things that I discuss and talk about on this channel, I have pretty much gone through or can relate to at least. There are some things that I will not disclose as we go along in this video topic, but I do want you all to know that I am all for marriage. I have a very strong passion, you know, for those who want to pursue marriage. It's a great thing. It's something that that is very virtuous and very honorable. So I don't ever want anyone to get the wrong impression about this video, just, you know, wonder why am I making a video about calling off an engagement. Obviously there are some true and real reasons for you to do such a thing, but I just want you all to just want to put that out there, that I'm all for marriage. I would never want anyone to just end a relationship or end a potential marriage just for, you know, for no particular reason. So should I call off my engagement? So if this is something that you are experiencing, if you are a female or male out there and you're in a situation where maybe you proposed to someone, or ladies, you have accepted a proposal and now you're just having second thoughts, like you're really questioning if this person is really for you now. So this is what this video is going to be addressing. So to start off with sharing my own story, I was in a relationship for 6 years prior to my husband. It has nothing to do with my husband, but this was a relationship that I was in for 6 years. This person and I dated all throughout college, so 4 years of college and then 2 years post-college. We also knew each other back in high school as well, so we had a very extensive background of one another before dating in college. So we weren't in any kind of relationship before college. It started while we were in college. But anyway, throughout that relationship, it was very dysfunctional. It was very rocky. I remember lots of times where we broke up and we would get back together, and then we'd break up again, then we'd get back together. So it was just a very long emotional roller coaster, if I could put that out there. It just wasn't the greatest of relationships. I will say, I think the thing that kept us together for so long was the fact that we had a passion for music, and you know, we went to the same college. I had no idea he was going to go to that college, but we ended up dating. You know, like I said, we started dating in college. We had the same major, which was in music, and so I think we just kind of formed a bond there, and that what really sparked the relationship. I would say a lot of people probably assumed that thought that we were a very odd pair. Maybe not always just physically, but it's just I feel like we did have very different upbringings. Like I came from a two-parent household, he came from a single-parent household, so we had a lot of things played a factor, and I feel like in our relationship being very rocky. Over time, I began to feel like he may not have been the right person for me. I know while in college, you know, you're still learning about yourself. You don't even know what you really want, you know. I think that really played a part too, and why I stayed and kept going back, because I didn't really know what I wanted. I mean, you know, you formed a relationship with someone over time, over such a long period of time, you just say, you know, that's just what relationships are about, you know. Our last year together, the 6th year, that is when he proposed to me. and I accepted it. I know some of you may be wondering, well, why did you accept the proposal if you know you weren't even sure? But during that time, at that time, there were some other events that happened, and I won't go into detail. There are some key things that I like to share with you that I feel comfortable enough with sharing about that played a part in my decision with calling off the engagement. Well, before I get into that, I will say that I was a Christian all the way throughout our relationship. I mean, way before I even met him, I was a Christian. I was always a believer. He was always a believer. But we were baby Christians. Amesha then is nothing like the Amesha I am now. And so I have grown quite a bit. But during that time, I was still trying to figure out, you know, who I was and who I was in Christ and all that. And so, wasn't perfect, didn't do things perfectly at all. But I will say during that last year of our relationship, I felt like I was starting to cling more to God and starting to detach a little bit from him. This was after the proposal, by the way. And I felt like I started to focus more on what marriage would really look like for me. Like, you know, if this is the person that we're always breaking up, we're always getting back together, we're always having these big, huge arguments, like it's just totally dysfunctional, and the only thing we really could agree on is music, you know, may not be the right thing for me. And so it really became such a struggle for me where I had to really just think about what marriage would look like with this person. You know, how would he be a husband to me? What would he be like as a father to my children? Is he a really good person to be an example for my son, or be a great father figure for my daughter? And some of those things I just felt very questionable about. And you know, you think as a female and coming from a two-parent household, I thought about my father. Like, what was my father like growing up? I had a wonderful childhood and upbringing. You know, I had both a mother and a father, and I realized some people don't come from that type of household, but fortunately I did. And so I knew what a marriage looked like. My parents had been married over 40 something years, so I knew what a marriage looked like. And I guess I kind of compared, you know, the two, and I knew I didn't want him to be exactly like my dad, but there were things that I just didn't see that I knew that were very important to me to having a husband. And I just didn't see those things. And I just lacked such a peace about him. I just lacked a peace. And I remember praying and asking God to show me, like, you know, I've already accepted this proposal, and this, you know, I've been with this guy for 6 years. My family knows him, you know, friends, church members, you know, everybody knows this guy, you know, and he wasn't necessarily a horrible person. It's just that I didn't no longer feel like if he was really the right person for me. And so, you know, I'm just struggling and battling with all of these emotions about, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do? And like I said, I remember just clinging to God and just I felt myself beginning to detach from him, like to really pull away in the relationship. Like I was just really struggling with this. And at the time I was teaching part-time. I just like this is 2 years after college, so I just started teaching music, and then I was also working in retail. And this particular day I remember so very vividly. I was working in a retail store, and I remember this lady. At the time, I did not know her. had never met her at the time, who would later become a co-worker of mine at another school that I would teach at, and then also a very close friend of mine in a church organization that we would later come into contact with. So, but at this particular time, I had no idea who this woman was. But she came into the store, and I remember checking her out at the cash wrap, and she somehow we just got on. We you know, you make conversation, and she got on the conversation of relationships and talking about how she was engaged and she called it off and she just knew it just wasn't going to work. And I'm looking at this lady and she's talking, and I'm like, does she not know that this is exactly what I'm going through? Like, I began to, you know, share into the conversation and, you know, tell her about, you know what, I'm actually going through something just like that. Like, I've been praying and asking God to show me, you know, what I should do, and here she is just coming to me and just saying these things. And I took it as a sign from God. I'm like, wow, like God is speaking through this lady to me to let me know, like, it's okay if you're unsure about this. Like, you don't have to go through with it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's holding a gun to your head. I mean, you know, she just really gave me such confirmation and such affirmation to just, you know, believe in my feelings. She just made my feelings feel very validated. Like what I was experiencing and struggling with was real, and that I needed to pay attention to that because it meant something. And so I remember telling her, and I remember thanking her, like, thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your story with me, because I didn't ask her. I didn't say anything about what I was going through. She just came to me and just started, you know, we just in conversation. I don't remember exactly how we got there, but I just remember her mentioning those things, and I just told her how grateful I was for her sharing her story with me. And of course I continued to pray. I didn't just like, oh yep, that's it. But I just knew that was not a coincidence. Days later, after this has happened, you know, I had this encounter with this woman at my job. I finally get the guts to, you know, go to this guy that I'm dating and go to my, at the time, fiance, and tell him, like, look, I just told him my feelings. I don't even remember everything that I said, but I just expressed to him what I felt, and just pretty much had to tell him, like, you know, this is just not working. Now, I know some of you may still try to figure out or wondering what exactly what it was that I was struggling with this guy. Other than, I mean, I did mention that I just didn't have peace with him, but I felt like also that we were just on two different planes when it came to maturity levels. Like, I felt like I was ready to move forward, and, you know, I know we just graduated college, but I was just like, you know, I was ready to grow up and you know, enter to the workforce and just, you know, just grow up. And I felt like he was just very comfortable with just being, you know, a college student, a college kid, and I was just ready to mature, and we were just missing each other. And then also I felt like there was such an emotional disconnect with us. Like, it's very important for, you know, for me to feel like, and for any woman to feel like emotionally they're understood, they're cared for, and respected, and you know, their feelings are considered, and, you know, I just didn't feel that. There was just so many different things that was just, you know, I felt like I would be settling had I stayed in that relationship and continue on. So I just knew that, you know, the biggest thing for me is just I just did not have peace about this guy being my husband, being the father to my children. Like, it just did not feel right to me. Surprisingly, he wasn't. The reaction that I got from him wasn't what I expected. It was a very mellow, almost like he knew it was coming. And as I mentioned before, you know, I did mention that I was already kind of detaching and pulling away in a sense. So maybe he already knew it was coming. And, you know, throughout this course of this 6-year relationship, we would always break up, get back together, break up, get back together. So it was, you know, maybe he assumed, oh, she's just having one of her, you know, this is going to be another one of our breakups, and then we're going to end up back together. But little did he know, I had a talk with my daddy, and my daddy said, no ma'am, he is not the one for you. So it was not going to be one of those things where I leave and then come back. So yeah, I had to really stress to him, like, you know, this is going to work. I gave him back the ring, and, you know, that was that. Now, I'm not saying it was all sunshine and roses from then on. You know, it was a struggle. I mean, you think of just a 6-year period and just boom, like that, is over. So yeah, I did have struggles where I even considered, you know, like, did I make the right decision afterward, and learning how to create the boundaries of cutting it off, like no texting, no conversations. Like, we had to go cold turkey. Like, it was a struggle. It was constant prayer. Lord, give me strength now that I've done this to continue on, you know, recovering from this. But yeah, so after I told him that, and I remember having to tell my parents and tell my sister and my church family and everybody, and, you know, I really feel like everybody was more understanding than I thought. And one thing I want to mention is sometimes the signs are always there, in those that we love, and those that love us. They may not always come out and verbally just say, look, I don't think that's the one that's the right person for you. But look for certain signs sometimes, because I feel like I ignored a lot of things where certain family members would say certain things, or people that I really cherished, who weren't necessarily family, but they would say things and you know, question like, are you really happy? Is this what you want? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and they want to support you, but you have to be discerning of certain things. Like, there were always signs of people showing me that they didn't see what I later saw or later felt about the relationship. They had already saw that, and so I think that played a part in to their reaction not being what I expected, because I was thinking like everybody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, why, you know, and I didn't really get that reaction from everybody. So it's important to pay attention to your family and your friends about especially those that love you and really care for you. Now, I'm not just saying anyone, everybody, because some people don't want to see you happy regardless. It could be the right person. God could deliver them down to you on a crane and they can still say, he ain't the one for you. So just be careful of that too. But once again, just pay attention to your surroundings and people who really care for you about what they have to say about your relationship. That's how it happened. And I just want to use this platform, use this video to encourage someone. If you're going through something like this, it is okay to feel what you're feeling. And do not ignore that lack of peace that you have. God has placed that inside of you for a reason. He's trying to tell you something. Don't invalidate the feelings that you feel. If you're watching this video and something in this video is resonating with you, like, yes, that's exactly how I feel, or that's exactly what happened. It means something. Pay attention. I'm so glad that I paid attention. What if I had not paid attention to this? I would have ended up committing my life to someone that wasn't for me, and I would have missed out on the beautiful marriage that I have with my husband now. Like, I couldn't imagine doing life without Quentin. Like, my husband is everything to me. Like, he is everything that I never knew I needed and more. And so it's just like we have to seek the Lord first of all. Seek the Lord and ask him to reveal to us. James 1:5 says that we can go to God and ask him for wisdom, and he'll give us guidance and direction, and he'll give it to us freely. He's waiting for us to ask him for whatever we need, but definitely wisdom is something that we should always be seeking the Lord for. Don't just try to wing life and wing these major life decisions. We have to be careful about these things. You can't just wing it. And so seek the Lord, and then seek wise counsel. Like, if you're not in the church just yet, you know, seek a close family friend, someone that you definitely trust. Like I said, don't just get anybody, because some people just don't want to see you happy regardless. But get someone that you know has your back and who has a very good head on their shoulders, and they're pretty wise. And pray about it and make the decision to do what you got to do. Because this is a lifelong commitment, and you don't want to commit to someone that God has not ordained for you to be with. A ring is not a Band-Aid. I know a lot of us sometimes want to feel like, oh, we see a problem or issue with this guy, and we're thinking, oh, once he put a ring on it, or once we get married, it's all going to end. It's going to be done. You know, he'll be better. Y'all, that is so not true. That is such a lie. It's not true at all. If anything, it's going to heighten and increase whatever issue that's there. It's going to become even worse. You know what I mean? Because you haven't dealt with it. You haven't confronted it and tried to fix it and resolve it. So please don't ever think that, you know, it's going to get better. The ring is going to make it better. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not a Band-Aid. Don't let your fear get in the way either. Don't be afraid. Like, I was afraid to confront my feelings and actually go through with telling this guy, like, this is not going to work. But I knew I had to do it. And I know you may feel embarrassed. You know, you may feel like you don't want to offend his family or your family or whoever else. It does not matter. This is a decision that you're making for yourself, and saving yourself from a potential wreck. You know, so this is something that you definitely have to take into consideration. You have to realize that this is a lifelong decision that you are making. You have to take it seriously. Do not invalidate your feelings. They are there for a reason. God can be trying to show you as hard as he can, like, look, sis, he ain't it. This is not it. I don't know what I would do if I had just gone through and just sat on the like, well, yeah, this is it, you know, 6 years, yeah, I'm gonna keep on with this relationship, knowing that I had no peace about it. Oh, I just could not imagine. And I just would hate for any of you who are in a similar situation to just not pay attention to what's going on in your heart. Like, you know it's not right. Pay attention to it and move past that. I do know with my situation, we were engaged for maybe like 4 to 5 months, so there wasn't a whole lot that transpired as far as prepping for the wedding, like for us to get married. Like there's pretty much nothing was really done just yet. So I don't want that to play a part in you in your decision, saying, hey, well, I've already got my dress, I've already made, you know, a down payment on my venue, my bridesmaids have already brought their dresses, I've already, you know, you don't let what you've invested in this wedding stir you away from making this decision. This is still a very serious decision. These things can be returned, can be replaced, or even if they can't, they can't fix a lifelong commitment that you're making to this person that's not supposed to be with you. That, I mean, you gotta weigh what's more important: your happiness, your forever long commitment to this person. Don't worry about what you've already done. I don't care if your family has bought tons of gifts for y'all. You know this man is not it for you. You need to call it off. I don't care if your wedding is tomorrow. Call it off. If you are really feeling that this is not for you, call it off. Save yourself a heartache. Save yourself a wreck of a life that you could be potentially creating for yourself, and then therefore missing out on who God has really placed on this earth for you. Save yourself that, sis. Save yourself from it. If you're going through this, I would love to pray for you. Please leave your names in a comment. You don't even have to tell me your whole story. If you want to, that's great. I'll read it and reply back to you. But this is such a serious topic to me, and I feel like a lot of women may not feel comfortable with going forward and calling off an engagement. And I just wanted to be that encouraging person to you, just like the lady who is now a friend of mine came into that store and said what she said to me. I want to be her right now, standing in front of you or in front of your screen, your phone or whatever, and just encouraging you to make the right decision for yourself. This is a decision that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. Make the right decision. Seek the Lord, seek wise counsel, and get help. Talk to someone and make the decision. Make the right decision for yourself. All right. Thank you guys for spending a moment with Amesha. Once again, leave those comments down below, and I would love to pray for you if you're going through something like this. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so that you don't miss another video from myself. And once again, I thank you all for spending a moment with Amesha. See you in the next video. Bye.